A Vort from the Rebbe on this week's Parshas Bamidbar. Beginning of Parshas Bamidbar, the Rebbe tells Moshe Rabbeinu that he and Aaron should count the Yidden. And then the pasuk says, "Ve'itchem yiyu ish ish lamata ish lebeisa vesav hu," that together with you should be all the Nesiim. And Rashi says what it means is, "Keshetifkedu esam," when you count the Yidden, yiyu imochem nosi kol shevet v'shevet. So with you should be the nosi of every shevet. The nosi means the leader of every shevet. And as the Mefarshim say, what it means, Rashi means to tell us is that when they counted every shevet, you had to have all the 12 Nesiim there. In other words, when you counted Ruvain, not only the nosi of Ruvain had to be there, you had to have the Nesiim of all the Shvatim. When you counted Shimon, you had to have the Nesiim of all the Shvatim. And the Rebbe asks the Shaila, why would it be important to have the Nesiim of all the Shvatim when you count all the Shvatim? Maybe we say that when you count Ruvain, you need the Nosi of Ruvain to be there. When you count Shimon, you need the Nosi of Shimon, and so far. But why would the other Nesiim of the other Shvatim have to be there when they count each Shevet? When they count Ruvain, why do you need the Nosi of Shimon, etc., etc.? And the Rebbe explains it that we see the difference between this counting and the two times the Yidden were counted before. The two times were when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, and after the Yidden sinned with the Egel. Over there, they did not count it by Shvatim, by tribes. We counted all the Yidden. In this time, it says you counted each tribe, and then the Torah also makes the Sachakal, the sum total of how they were all together. The difference between these two ways of counting, the Rebbe explains, is like this. When you count all the Yidden together, that means you're not looking at the individuality of each person. We know each person has his qualities. But if you look at the difference between the qualities of different people, then you can't count them all equally. When you count, it means you're counting each one as one. Someone with good qualities, better qualities, is not counted like two. Someone with lesser qualities is not counted less than one. So you're looking here at the Yidden, that the common denominator that you all have, that each one is a Yid. That's why you count them all equally. That's when you count all the Yidden equally. But when you count them by Shvatim, so you are stressing here the difference between one and another. Each Shevet represents a different way of serving Hashem, different qualities, etc. So by counting each Shevet separately, you are showing that you are talking about the different qualities in the different Shvatim, and Bebele also in the different families, in the different Yidden. At the same time, we see that at the end, all the Yidden came up with one sum total. They're counted all as one big unit. So you have two things here. They counted each Shevet separately, which means we're looking at the different qualities of the people. At the same time, we're saying that it's all one big counting. So what this teaches us, the Rebbe says, that even when we take in consideration the different qualities and different milas of every Yid, we don't look at them as an individual thing of each person. We look at the milas that each Yid has, his own milas, is part of the completion of Klal Yisrael. We look at them that each person with his specific milas is part of Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is made up of all these different milas. So you have to have both things together. You have to look at each different person as an individual and what he contributes, and at the same time you look at all as one, because they both are important. You count all as one, so you're not looking at the milas. But the chiddush here is that even when you're looking at the individuality of each person, with the milas of each person, the Eibishter looks at each mile of each person as part of what helps the whole Klal Yisrael. Maybe the mashal would be, you could look at the body, at each part of the body is a part of the body. So we look at each aver, at each limb as part of the body. Each one is part of the body. But then we also say each one has its function. But the fact that each one has a separate function, that makes the whole body as one complete body. The head has the brain, the intellect, the heart has the midas, and each one has its milah. And the fact that each one has a separate milah, together they make up one big body. The same thing by Yidden. Not only does all the Yidden make up one big body because they're all Yidden and they're all the same, and all together is one Klal Yisrael, but even the milas that each one has also helps to the Klal Yisrael. It's each milah is part of what Klal Yisrael has. Each one contributes to the Klal Yisrael as a whole. And that adds to the importance of the mitzvah of Achdus Yisrael and Avos Yisrael, to realize that each Yid First of all, he is a Yid, and no matter who he is and what his qualities are, he's a member of Klal Yisrael, and he's part of Klal Yisrael, and he makes all these individuals make Klal Yisrael, and also the milas that each person has, the individuality that each person has, also is part of Klal Yisrael.